let's get into the match preview for tomorrow night at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. 7:45 kickoff. 2-0 down from the first leg in a very lacklustre display at Stamford Bridge. I was there that night. The fans were in full voice. It's a shame the team couldn't match it. Literally, it's the best atmosphere I've been in all season. Really was a shame that the team just did not pull through with it. But, Sim, can we do it tomorrow?
Well, I mean, look, it's obviously a mountain to climb, let's be honest. Let's not be around the bush. It's going to be near impossible to get back into the game, not just because Chelsea right now are a better team. That's obvious. They have a better squad, got better players. You know, they're obviously more ahead in their development than we are. Since Tuchel, was there a year ago now, he's been there a year. Lukaku's back in the frame as well. Despite the fact that he, had his troubles, I think he's actually playing quite well at the moment. He's scoring goals. I think that's 3 and 3 now for him. But it's not just all these things. It's also the injuries that we have. Son is out, definitely not playing. We know that for sure, which is a massive, massive blow. Bergwijn, he's not going to be playing, so because he's injured or whatever, he might be subject to a transfer. We're not sure, but he's not going to be playing. So it leaves us with Lucas, Kane, and Gil. Gil, I don't think is ready for this kind of game. Maybe for a sub appearance. I wouldn't start him. So it leaves us with Lucas and Kane. All right, that's the forward problems. But then you look at the back. Eric Dyer, he had a problem.
Yeah, he's touch and go.
Yeah, he had a problem in on the weekend. Is he going to be fit? If he is fit, is he going to be 100% fit? All these things come into play. Is Rodon ready to step in? Or even because if Dyer doesn't play, Romero's still not there. So it's either Rodon or Tanganga that comes in for him. Is there enough leadership to make sure that we don't concede any more goals while we look to go forward? I mean, we need to be at 100% to get back in this game, and I find it very difficult to see us doing that with the problems we have.
Yeah,
but on the flip side, if Dyer is back, we maybe we go with a 5-3-2 and put maybe a Lo Celso in the centre, put Lucas and Kane up front. Maybe we can be a bit more solid, and maybe Lucas and Kane can do damage. But with Chelsea at the moment, they've kind of gone. They went for a rut, but it looks like they might have come out of that now.
Yeah, it does seem like they're starting to come out the other side. But, I know we're very much depleted, but Chelsea are depleted too. Cast your mind back to earlier in the season when we played Chelsea at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. We actually gave them a really good game first half. I know.
Without really laying a glove on them.
Without really laying a glove on them. But that was a Nuno side. And I imagine if we have that sort of dominance in the game with a Conte side, will be much more dangerous in front of goal, and maybe we can lay a glove on them. I mean, I left the stadium last week thinking, you know what, we got away with one at 2-0 and we're still very much in the game. Mm-hmm. That's the way I felt leaving the game last week. And
agreed.
And you've got Kante out, who's a massive miss for them. You've got Edouard Mendy out, who's a massive miss for them. You've got Thiago Silva, Reece James, Azpilicueta out as well. So I mean, they've got heavy injuries, and Chilwell, obviously. So they've got heavy injuries this weekend.
Yeah, but injuries are more important to us than they are to them.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. But, in a one-off cup game, I wouldn't say I'm expecting us to go and win tomorrow, but I'm expecting for a much, much better performance, and I'm expecting to be very competitive tomorrow.
Well, I'm expecting no Doherty at left back, which we had in the first leg, didn't we? So we'll have Reguilon back. He was rested on the weekend. Which is very strange, actually, looking back now, because he was on the bench, right, against Chelsea, and then he didn't play on the weekend. So why? Why did he not play any of the last 2 games?
Yeah, well, Conte blamed it on tiredness. So make of that what you will. I don't know if it is tiredness or what, or if there's a problem there. But the last time he played, obviously, he had a bad performance against Southampton the last time he played? When he got taken off at half-time.
Yeah, he was booked, and he was tired that game, to be fair.
So he got taken off at half-time that game. It looked like he was going to get sent off if he was to stay on. Yeah. And he hasn't played since. Conte's blamed on tiredness. Do you buy that?
I don't know.
This for 2 games.
It's very strange. I mean, for Morecambe, I understand he's being rested, but why he didn't play then against Chelsea, I don't understand. He didn't play at all, did he? He didn't even come on. So I thought that was very strange. I think against Morecambe with Sessegnon back, that's obviously the right call. But look, if it means he's going to be fresh for the Chelsea game, I'm not going to complain. Look, and that means we're going to be a lot more competent down the wings than we were against Chelsea in the first leg. The thing is with Chelsea, they've got a big squad. Like they can handle these injuries. Like we, unfortunately, one injury to die, and we're thinking about Rodon or Tanganga. You know what I mean? That's just the set of our squad.
Yeah,
and that's nowhere near where Chelsea are at the moment.
What I'm saying is that when we played them back at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium earlier on the season, we had Nuno, and we gave them a really, really good game first half, and all the Spurs fans were very happy at half time with what was going on. They bring on Kante, and the whole game flips. So maybe we do have a chance without Kante there.
It was different. First of all, we had a pretty much full team.
Strength, yeah.
We had Son there, Dyer was there, Romero was even playing. He was playing really well.
That was Romero's debut, wasn't it?
He potentially was his debut in the Premier League anyway. Maybe he played in the Cup before that, the Conference League. I think, and second of all, we were definitely the better team in the first half, but we didn't really create anything. We barely had any chances. It was just that we were very happy that
we were competitive.
Yeah, basically off the back of a bad loss to Palace, 3-0. You're thinking, you're fearing the worst. And all these players are coming back from quarantine and whatnot. And then we actually gave them a game in the first half. And remember, Chelsea at the time were flying high, winning every game. So it was unexpected that we actually gave them a bit of a game in the first half. But the second half, they rolled us over 3-0. And there was actually, the second half was much more dominant for them than the first half was for us.
Yeah, of course.
So, I think I just find it, unless if Dyer is out, I actually give us no chance. I think if Dyer is not playing, we're not keeping a clean sheet. That's you have to pretty much accept that, because with Tanganga and Rodon at the back, or Rodon with Sanchez and Davis, there's no leadership. There'll be no
I think Sanchez and Davis definitely play. It's all about just who plays.
Yeah, of course they have to play. We have no choice, and
it has to be Rodon in my opinion,
rather than Tanganga.
Yeah.
After last week, I guess.
But if Rodon's still got that injury, we're going to have to play Tanganga, because we can't have Rodon in the state he played against Morecambe in this game.
Yeah, that's the Tanganga didn't exactly play well against Morecambe either.
No, I know, but it's like the lesser of two evils. Which one do you want? Do you want Tanganga, who's had a shit show in the last 2 games, or do you want Rodon, who's not fully fit and also is susceptible to a?
The only way I think we maybe get some joy is we just have to beef up the midfield, make sure we're competitive in that area, and not getting overrun like we did last week. If we are going to go down, don't make it easy for them, and that's the only way I can see it. If we play 2 midfield of Højbjerg and Skip and a back 3, not including Dyer, I can see it being a pretty simple day for Chelsea. Honestly, obviously we still have quality. We still have Kane, Lucas. The wing backs might cause some problems, and but. I think at the moment everything's pointing to Tottenham not being able to turn this one around. I think if we did have Son available and Dyer available, I'd be actually a bit more hopeful. I'd give us a chance. But because of if Dyer is out and Son being out, and Bergwijn, we actually don't even have like Kane and Son. If it's not working for an hour for them, we literally have nothing.
Kane and Lucas, yeah.
Sorry, Kane and Lucas. If it's not working for them, we don't have anything to change it.
Yeah.
And Ndombele, is he going to be involved? Probably not after what happened on the weekend. So that's another option.
I think he's going to have to be involved. I think he's going to have to.
I hope so. But there's a chance he might not be. And if he's not, then that's another player who could potentially create something for us, who will be out of the picture. We're running out of. Then all of a sudden you're running out of players who you think could actually hurt Chelsea. Like just purely on a attacking basis. Like that's the state of our squad. That's just it. Like Chelsea, they can have all these players out, yet they still got so much talent. I was looking at the squad. I remember before the game last week, I was looking at the teams, and I was like, I was just looking at both 11s. I was like, I'm looking at both 11s. I'll take a 2-1 right now defeat. 100%. I'll take a 2-1 defeat. And I remember people in the WhatsApp group were talking. They were saying, "Oh, what are you talking about? Chelsea, look at the players they got out, James and this and that. They got all these players out. You know, we can do something." So I was like, mate, just because they got players out, look at the team, look at the first 11. They've in terms of talent, they've got so much more talent than us in the forward line. So much. Well, their backups will probably start for us. Like that's the truth, and that I find it very difficult to see us rolling them over tomorrow. And we have to win by 2 goals as well. Yeah. You know, it's going to be so difficult. Maybe if we get an early goal, we keep it tight, make sure that we don't concede another, and then like last 20 minutes or so, we really go for it. Maybe we can get something there if there's some tactical mastery from Conte, which can't put it past him. You never know, but even that, we would need Dyer. We need Eric Dyer tomorrow.
It's mad how important the guys come to us. After last season, everyone was willing to chuck the guy away, us included.
But that's still, to be honest, as much as I think Dyer's improved and he's been great, our reliance on him is not due to how good he is. Yeah, it's due to exactly.
And like I was saying that yesterday, I was like the emergence of Davis, Dyer, and who was the other player I was thinking of? Anyway, a few other players that have been performing well that have been on the fringes recently. That's not an indictment of how good they are. It's an indictment of how poor we are.
Yeah. For example, Thiago Silva, 10 times the defender Eric Dyer is, right?
Yeah.
But Chelsea aren't as reliant on Silva as we are on Dyer. It doesn't mean Dyer's a better player just because Chelsea have Christensen to come in and Rudiger to come in and much better defenders to come in and fill the gap when he's out. We have Tanganga and Joe Rodon, who might be potentially good defenders right now. They're not capable of coming in this kind of game. Clearly, well, at the moment, from what they've shown, is they're not really capable of coming in this kind of game and leading a defence and making sure that we're solid at the back and making sure we're all organised and everyone's doing their job and leading, because that's what they're going to have to do. They can't just come in and defend, right? They're going to have to be a leader. They're going to have to actually organise the defence. They're going to have to communicate with everyone. Dyer, unfortunately, is the only one who can do that. Sanchez is a good defender, but he can't lead the line. Davis is a good defender, but he's never been a leader. He's one who complements the other defenders.
He was the best leader at Stamford Bridge, that's for sure.
But he's not a leader. He wasn't a leader. He just defended well. He's not a leader. He's not one who can organise a defence. Dyer's the only one.
That at Stamford Bridge. He was doing that. I was watching him
we lost 2-0.
I know we lost 2-0.
So he wasn't leading well then.
We weren't good enough. Well, it's hard to lead those kind of players, isn't it? But he was definitely showing some leadership qualities at Stamford Bridge, that's for sure. Because there were so many lackluster performances. He was shouting at them all night. All night he was shouting at them, trying to G them up, trying to get to grips with stuff. But look, it obviously wasn't good enough. I think Conte got it wrong as well last week. I genuinely believe we need to beef up that midfield this weekend, tomorrow night. We need to put 3 in midfield. We need to make it difficult for them in midfield. We need to make it a cauldron as fans as well. We need to believe that we can win tomorrow night. And we need to literally sing for the lads, make it a cauldron of hate for the Chelsea lot for 90 minutes. And that's the only way we're going to get anything from the game tomorrow. If the fans can rise up and if the players can rise up to the fans rising up. That's the way we're going to win tomorrow night. It's not going to be done on quality, that's for sure.
Yeah, we have to just outfight them. We have to make sure that we're getting in their faces, more intense than them. We have to make sure that we're early in the game. We're making sure that Chelsea know that they're in for a game. That's the only way we somehow make a game of it. Otherwise, it's going to be simple for Chelsea. And I just worry that if Chelsea score an early goal, then it's going to be like that second half against Chelsea that we played back in September or whenever it was. It was so that second half was probably the easiest game they've had all season. That second half, like we literally didn't have anything. Like we were just lumping it forward and giving it back to them, and then they could have even that day. It could have been even more than 3 in the end, and that's what I worry about, because we need the game to be there for us if we're going to be in it. If it's 3-0. I think the heads drop. I think the players start losing belief, and it's going to be very difficult. So hopefully we get an early goal, and maybe then we can make a game of it, and we can be competitive. But I just find it with the players we have out. Unfortunately, look, this is just the reality of our squad. With the players we have out, I find it very difficult to see us doing it.
Yeah, I mean, we need to try and find a little bit of positivity from somewhere. It is a semi-final. It is against Chelsea. Yes, we're 2-0 down, but what areas of the pitch do you think that maybe we can exploit tomorrow and we can hurt them?
Yeah, have to be the wings because, as you say, Reece James is out, Chilwell's out, Aspie's out. So there is an area that, with Marcus Alonso, I know he had a good game last week. But if we beef up the central areas and and force them out wide, technically we should be able to exploit them. Last week we weren't able to because we had Matt Doherty at left wing back, and he can't exploit anyone. But with Reguilon there, all of a sudden we have a player who could actually hurt them and get in behind them and actually make them think going the other way, unlike Doherty did. So there is an area where we might actually have a bit, actually not even just like numbers or anything. We actually might have better quality on the day because of their injuries in that area. But we have to make sure that we're exploiting it in the right way, because last week they surprised us, Chelsea. They went with a 4 at the back in the first half. It meant that Ziyech was playing on the right, and he tucked in very narrow, made it very difficult for us to pick him up. And they got a lot of joy that way. So we've got to be wary of those kind of things if they do switch to 4 at the back. But yeah, I think if we can clog up the central areas, force them out wide, then the wings, maybe if Emerson can have some of his crossing boots on, we might get some joy.
Yeah, let's hope so, man. Let's hope so. I mean, in terms of the midfield for Chelsea, are you expecting Saul to play again?
Is Loftus-Cheek injured?
Doesn't say he is.
So he could definitely play. They got Jorginho, Kovacic. They got a lot of players available. I wouldn't want, if I was a Chelsea. Yes, Kante's injured, but
who have they got this weekend, Chelsea? Don't they have like Man City or something?
They do have Man City, yeah. But still, it's a semi-final. It's a big game. So
yeah.
I don't think, even look, they've got Saul, Loftus-Cheek, Kovacic, and Jorginho. That's 4 centre mids, right? Even without Kante that they have available, who are all decent quality, who can all do a job. If they do start with Saul, and they do play with 2 in the middle, that's also an area we can try and exploit, because he's been terrible for them. He's been absolutely horrific. He didn't even play that great. We just didn't do anything. Yeah. Like when we were in the second half.
It's the first time he's not been an embarrassment on a football pitch.
Well, it's the first time he's lasted 45 minutes.
Because we let him play.
But the second half, once we made some changes, all of a sudden it became a bit more difficult for him, and they had to take him off. But he's definitely one we can look to exploit if he starts in a 2. If he starts in a 3, it's hard to exploit him. But if he starts in a 2, then that's definitely one we can exploit in the centre. But they the problem with Chelsea's squad is, if he does do that badly, they bring on Kovacic, and he's been recently anyway one of the best in the league. He's been brilliant. So it's difficult. But yeah, we got to hope that they try and plan for the weekend with the squad that they have. And if they do that, maybe we can catch them off guard. In this, if we can beef up the central areas, force them out wide, that's what I think he'll do. I think he's going to play a 3-5-2.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, I wanted him to play a 3-5-2 last week at Stamford Bridge. I'm not really sure why he didn't. But look, it's a massive game tomorrow at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I want to see positivity. I know it's not been very positive so far, but it's the only way we're going to win this if the fans get on side, support the team throughout the end, and the fans and the players respond to it. Because we've seen it time and time again. You were at that Liverpool game. Yes, I know we had Sonny and Dyer and stuff like that, but how much of an impact did the fans have that day?
Yeah, massively. We're well up for it. And if the fans are up for it, it could definitely bring the players to another level, 100%. I'm not like, obviously, at the end of the day, as much as, Dyer's and all these things, it is a game of football. It's 90 minutes. It's 11 versus 11. And as much as Chelsea have better quality, you never know what can happen. We can surprise everyone. And for sure, that's always a possibility. Never know. I'm just assessing it from what I see. But if we completely have if the crowd are up for it, and we're making it a wall of sound, and the players are feeding off that, then things can change very quickly. Very quickly. All of a sudden, Chelsea can get under the cosh. We get an early goal. All of a sudden, the momentum can be with us. But it's going to be very difficult to kind of get into that situation. But you never know. You never know.
All right. Well, what score prediction are you going for, having said all that?
I'm going to go with 1-1.
1-1.
Yeah. I think we'll score, and then we'll have a bit of belief, and then Chelsea will have score a killer goal, and then will knock us out. Unfortunately,
I'm going 2-1 Spurs. I think we're gonna start strong. I think we're gonna take the lead, probably take the 2-0 lead, and then they're gonna do a killer blow at the end.
we won't. I guarantee you now, we're not going to go 2-0 up.
Well, that's what I'm going for. I'm going for 2-1 to Spurs, but unfortunately Spurs to go out. Sim is going for 1-1. Let me know in the comment section below what your score predictions are. I mean, I'm trying to be positive, even though I'm saying we're going to go out. I'm trying to be positive. Maybe it's a bit delusional, who knows, but you got to be delusional when you're playing Chelsea in a semi-final and you're 2-0 down.
Well, look, the fact is, when we beat them 5-1, how many years ago was that?
20.
There was a much bigger gap than between the teams there are now.
Yeah.
So we beat them 5-1 that day.
Yeah, exactly.
You never know. You never know.
You never know. You know, when we beat them in the final, you know, there was a much bigger gap then. In
true.
2008. So,
Very true.
I mean, we've got previous in this tournament from beating them in gaps. I mean, look, they've got previous of beating us many a time over the year. But look, there is a significant gap between the clubs, as Conte clearly stated. But we could go there and win. We can go there and win tomorrow night. Well, they can come to us and we can beat them. But it's not over. This tie is not over. And I think Tottenham are going to surprise us tomorrow night. I really believe that. So let me know.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's a fast start. I really wouldn't. But I can't see us over 90 minutes getting over the line.
Well, I want to know your thoughts on the game in the comment section below. That is our match preview.